Well, welcome everybody to our Golden Providers meeting this week. We are happy to have you with us, whether you're watching us live today or on the recording. I'm going to start with a little explanation of who Golden Providers or what Golden Providers is and what the objective with our meeting is. Then everyone who's in attendance today is going to have an opportunity to share who they are, what we do, and what would make a good referral for us. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can use LinkedIn to benefit our business, promote our businesses, because promoting our businesses is part of what Golden Providers does. And then we'll wrap up with some announcements and final comments. So to begin with, what is Golden Providers? Well, Golden Providers is a nonprofit organization here in Brevard County. And our objective is to network with like-minded businesses who are looking out for the interests of the seniors in our community. We are concerned about seniors. We want to make sure that they are provided for, taken care of. And we also have created a network of vendors and different suppliers and companies that are known to be able to serve seniors in a good way, treat them fairly and compassionately. And we make sure that the ones that are actually members of our group are people who are vetted to be ethical and fair in how they would treat seniors. And so one of the elements of what we provide as a group is education. We provide education for each other through our meetings, different events that we hold. We provide some education to the community through open events, free events, and also seminars that are sometimes recorded, posted on our website so that people can watch them and learn different things regarding senior safety, fraud prevention, how to downsize simply, and any other issue that might be of interest for the seniors in our community or the people that work every day with seniors and help them and take care of them on their jobs. So an element of what we do is also promoting our businesses. Some of the different members of the group work with the sales departments for their companies and want to make sure that they get the word out about what business they have and what would make a good customer for them. And so we also network with one another. Sometimes we're able to give referrals to each other or use each other's services within the group. So our group has been around for quite a few years, has a lot of success stories of different cases where we've been able to help seniors, provide members with resources that they wouldn't have had otherwise or information that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And also great referrals have gone back and forth for our businesses to promote ourselves. So we're going to start now with a brief introduction for each of us that's here. And what we're going to share is who you are, what you do, and what would make a good referral for you. So let's start with you, Carrie. Who are you and what would you, and also let us know your role on Golden Providers as well as the board member.
Okay. So I'm Kerry Fink, and I've been a member of Golden Providers really probably going back to almost the day it started. I think I was there at maybe the first meeting, and I'm trying to remember, Robin, was that like 2010 or 2011?
I think it was 2011.
Yeah, so I guess this would be technically Golden Providers 10th year. And so I serve on the board of Golden Providers. I think technically I'm secretary, but the main thing is anything I can do that helps further what we do with Golden Providers, because working with senior stuff is near and dear. I also work a lot with Joe Steckler and the Helping Seniors of Brevard organization. So really, that is the main connection I have to Golden Providers is through what we do with helping seniors. We operate the county senior information helpline. We're helping callers free of charge who call us literally from all over the county and literally all over the United States, looking for help for their seniors here in Brevard County. And then we also publish a lot of stuff. We do television, we do radio, we do a center section in the Senior Scene magazine every month. We were just out at several events over this past weekend. We were out at the Space Coast Fun Fest. What we're trying to do is get information in the hands of seniors wherever they go so that they can do the best that they can in terms of making their own aging plan. So we are a Florida nonprofit, And what we do is we exist to make sure that seniors are getting the best information to help them enjoy the best quality of life that they can, either on an individual, almost like a case management basis, or just through media information that we provide. And I guess, Tom, to answer your question about a good referral, as a nonprofit, we need your help. So when you buy a Helping Seniors car raffle ticket, you're supporting the work of Helping Seniors as an individual. And if you're an organization or a business and you can become a corporate sponsor, that is a great help to us as well. So that would be good referrals for us.
Sounds good. And what's the phone number to that senior helpline if somebody needed to call that?
So the phone number for Helping Seniors Information Helpline, which also is now in its 10th year of service to Brevard County, is 321-473-7770.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so let's see, Robin, if you would like to share with us who you are, what you do, what would be a good referral for you, and what your role is with the Golden Providers Group.
Sure. My name is Robin Feemister. I'm a professional guardian, case manager, VA fiduciary. My company is Solutions by RPM. And I am have been a longtime board member of Golden Providers. I am currently the treasurer. A great referral for me is when you're having communications with an elder, especially, certainly it applies to others, but try to open the dialogue with them the best you can about who their decision makers are and whether that they have them in place, number one, whether they have advance directives in place that should some kind of emergency arise, medical or otherwise, if they require additional assistance, it doesn't mean that they can't still be involved in the process. But as a guardian, it's the last resort. So we also, want to educate and empower folks to get information, do their advanced planning well in advance. And, I can help to facilitate some of those discussions. So asking the question, a simple introduction, it could be as much as a discussion and just help them to know what their options are should they need more assistance down the road.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. And Ashley, who are you? What do you do? What would be a good referral for you? And what's your role with Golden Providers?
My name's Ashley Caswell. I'm the corporate director of marketing for Senior Living Management, which in Brevard represents Hibiscus Court Senior Living. I've been a member of Golden Providers for 7-8 years now, and I help with the marketing and the digital aspect with Carrie. So, a great referral for us would be someone who needs more assistance than living at home can provide. So we have a wonderful senior living community here that's vibrant and gives people lots of extras in life. So that would be a good referral for us as a family in need.
Sounds good. And who would they contact? The main number at Hibiscus Court?
The community or me. I work with the sales director. I'm there almost all the time. So.
All right. Sounds good. And Joe, who are you and what do you do and what would be a good referral for you?
Yes, good morning. Thanks for having me. So my name's Joe Rowlett, and I'm a wellness and communications coordinator for Florida Healthcare Plans. We are the actually the second oldest HMO in the country. Started out in the 70s and just stayed in Daytona Beach area. About 7 or 8 years ago, they started moving outside their Volusia County area and came into Brevard County alongside Florida Blue. So a lot of times you'll see Florida Healthcare Plans with the Blue Cross Blue Shield logo. So this logo that I have behind me is actually what we call, it's our FIT FHCP. So our HMO and the original HMO models were very fitness oriented. And that's my background is fitness and wellness. So they hired me to promote the healthy aspects. So you had mentioned education. We love doing education. It can be anything from ask a pharmacist, ask a doctor. We do a fun one called How to Pack a Gym Bag. So we have about 15 gyms in our network. So we do a lot of education. So any type of education or a speaker that you all need, please let me know. One of the biggest referrals we're doing right now is small group. So we do Medicare for seniors. We do under 65. What we're finding is that a lot of our seniors are working. You know, they're going in and getting part-time, full-time jobs with some of our small businesses. So by bringing on new businesses, we bring on a lot of new seniors we're finding as well. So that's kind of going to be a big referral source for us here lately. So, and then, hey, Carrie, someone had asked me just yesterday. She's looking to get out from being stuck in COVID. She wants to visit the Muscle Car Museum. She's looking for a fundraiser. So are you all doing it? You're all doing a fundraiser?
Yeah, so the answer is yes, we are. We definitely are doing October 9th, which is our Helping Seniors Car Raffle grand drawing. But
Okay.
we're also putting onto the calendar our make good plan for the event we were going to have with the grand drawing in 2020, but didn't get to have because of COVID. The date isn't set for that, but we've been talking about trying to make that a June event. So I don't know if there's anything else that's going on before then, but if I run into something, I'll shoot you an email.
Okay, yeah, I can let her know about the October 9th. She might be able to wait till, I think she's going to do it for like a present. She's giving it as a present. She's going to buy 2 tickets and go.
Yeah, we see a lot of people doing that. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Sounds good. Okay. And my name's Tom Toronto. I'm the president at Golden Providers. My role is mainly to conduct the meetings and to conduct the board meetings and work with our team to promote the organization. My job is a real estate agent. I have a team of realtors that work with me to list and sell houses. In conjunction with how we work with seniors, a lot of what we do is helping seniors to downsize. We've recognized that a lot of times seniors have many years of stuff that's been acquired at their home. And they've also realized that the maintenance of the house, maybe a bigger house is where they raised their family, is just too big for them. It's expensive to maintain or pay people to do everything that they maybe used to be able to do themselves. And so downsizing is a clear need, but the idea of downsizing is an overwhelming prospect in their mind. We like to make it the easy button. Just call me and we can take care of essentially everything. We can help with liquidating estate sale, helping you to get the furniture sold, help you find a smaller, simpler place to live, whatever that might look like for you. And we can also help with a double closing in a lot of cases so that we make sure that the house sells and essentially on the same day that the smaller home is purchased. So there's a lot of elements of downsizing that I think is a little scary for a lot of people. And since we've done it so many times and we do it so often, it's relatively easy for us. We have all the connections to make the move easy. We have a moving company that we work closely with. So if you know anybody who needs to downsize but thinks that the prospect might seem overwhelming, let them know that I'd love to sit down and talk with them. Absolutely no pressure at all. We can just talk about what might be the options for them to simplify and downsize their home. Again, my name's Tom Toronto from Keller Williams Realty, and I'd love to become your realtor. Okay, so everybody who's here today has had a chance to present themselves. Sounds good. All right, so now I would like to hear from Ashley. If you would like to tell us more about how we can promote our businesses using LinkedIn.
I think Carrie had a little bit of an agenda.
Well, I'm happy to kind of jump in, and then we're going to kind of look at some stuff. I'm actually going to do a screen share, and we're going to look at some stuff on LinkedIn. But I guess where I wanted to kind of start with this is some of the advice, because I wear another hat in addition to my Helping Seniors hat. We have a company called TYG Media, and we're involved in a lot of multimedia stuff. We work on Christian movies, television, radio. There's all kinds of stuff that we do that goes well beyond the senior world. But usually when I sit down and I'm talking with people and they're trying to get their social media house in order, they're always thinking, they say, well, I got to do Instagram, I got to do Pinterest, I got to do all these different things. And usually our advice is start with Facebook, because if you're going to do something, do it on Facebook. because I'm just looking at the stats right now. Get this number, 1.19 billion female Facebook users, almost 1.2 billion female Facebook users, and 1.5 billion male Facebook users. So if you think about that, you've got basically almost 2.7 billion people on Facebook. No other social media even comes close. And so if you remember earlier this year, Ashley had done a great presentation of how to use Facebook for your business. And one of the things we were talking about is some of the basic things is you want to keep, your cat pictures and all the things that like you like to do on your personal profile, and then put your business stuff out so that it's consistent with your branding. So that brings us to the question of like, well, why would you use LinkedIn? LinkedIn, by comparison, is a pretty small, social media platform, even relative to like Instagram or some of the others. What they're saying is in 2021, LinkedIn has 660 million users in more than 200 countries and across the globe. So think about that compared to what we were just saying, 2.7 billion for Facebook. So it's a much smaller platform. And it says 57% of LinkedIn users are male, 43% are female, and 37% of US adults who use LinkedIn are between 30 and 49 years old. So what is the purpose of LinkedIn? And I guess that's really probably, let me go ahead and do a share screen, and let's start talking a little bit about this as we go. The real reason to use LinkedIn, at least I think, is because it is such a good platform that is kind of designed for business to business. If you go back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, we were saying like, you have you as a person on Facebook and you put your beach vacation photos or whatever you want to put out there. That's all about you. And then hopefully you have your business side where you're, this is what I want you to know my business. Typically on LinkedIn, this is a great business to business thing. And I think one of the reasons why Ashley has so much to share on this is because of how you guys use this, not only in terms of what you do to promote your senior living management, but you even use it in terms of recruiting and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because it's LinkedIn is great to meet people, to network. Facebook is not really for networking. It's for just sharing your business. But with LinkedIn, you can connect with other people in the same industry. And because of that, you're able to recruit. So we use a lot of our sales and our leadership positions come from recruiting from LinkedIn, because we want professionals who are already in our industry or that may be thinking of coming to our industry. So we're able to recruit for those higher level positions on LinkedIn. And we've gotten really good results with our job postings that are specific to LinkedIn. And now LinkedIn has a new feature where, as an individual, like I can say that I am recruiting for a particular position. If you go to my profile, it might still be there. It might have timed out. Yeah, for a couple weeks, it had on there like as a like a special that I was hiring for these two positions, and it even gave me a different logo around my profile picture to really highlight that we had two sales positions open. We have actually filled them, so it's good that it's off of there. But it's really great to meet other people in your industry. I've met lots of people in my role at other companies all across the country because of LinkedIn, and I get to share ideas with people who are not competitors but are doing the same thing I'm doing. So it's a really great networking tool.
And that's actually one of the points that I wanted to ask you about, Ashley, because there's really two dimensions to this, right? One of the first places you go is you set up your individual profile. And I guess right now we're looking at your individual profile. And this is kind of like, it was funny when we were doing the FSGA, the Florida State Guardianship Association meeting, one of the speakers, literally on his bio, it said he had a 73-page CV. I mean, this guy was like the most overachiever of overachievers you could ever imagine. Okay. So even when they condensed it down and gave me some part of it to read, it was still like 2.5 pages. But this is your chance to tell your story and say, this is who I am, and this is the things that I'm doing professionally. So I don't know, Ashley, do you want to walk through a little bit how you set up your page, or what do you think here?
Yeah, so I think it's great when you're setting up your page to put relevant pieces of your resume on there. I don't have my whole resume on there, but I do my about section. If you go up a little bit,
Okay.
what's important to me is my dementia training and all that. So I could have put all of my, marketing skills and all these things, but for the purpose of connecting, for the purpose that I have of connecting with people, I want my teams to know, that that dementia is at the, that's what's important to me in my role. And then if you scroll down, it'll show you the activity. So those are the things that I've posted. So you need to be mindful when you're posting things or sharing things or commenting that it does show up on your profile. So, and then, it has your experience on there, and you can build it however you want. So, make sure that you have, when you're selecting pieces from your resume, that you're grabbing the right company name, because it'll all, link back together. So if you click on the PGA, that where I worked for a couple of years, it'll actually go to the PGA's page, because that's where
Right.
that was home for a long time.
And that's a good point, Ashley, that you're bringing up, because you can use the little tags the same way we do in Facebook. Remember, we talked about that when we did the Facebook thing. You put the little @ symbol, and then you put in the name of your company. Maybe it's another person you're referring to in the post or whatever. And that becomes a way you tag. It really works very much the same way, I think, as it does in Facebook.
Yeah, and so if you go back to your profile, Carrie, because you're really great at posting things, or the helping seniors profile. You're really great with the tags and sharing content there. If this is what you should be doing, and if I had the time, I'd do more of it. But
Well,
it's great to get it out there and for things to show up in people's news feed, because the way LinkedIn works is, you in your news feed shows up relevant things from people you have connected with. So their
right.
posts, things that they have liked. And you're supposed to be posting about the exciting things you're doing at work. It's not necessarily like a political forum or anything like that, but accomplishments or initiatives, or exciting things that you have going on in your company to share with others. If this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
or that you're hiring, because it's a great venue to find new associates.
Yeah, I really want to echo in on that, because so again, like LinkedIn is a B2B version of Facebook, right? It operates very much the same way. You have the news feed. So I don't know if you have it, you can certainly download it to your phone, and then you can pull up, and just the same way you would thumb through Facebook or Instagram or anything else, you can kind of see what your professional connections are doing in LinkedIn. A lot of times that can be important. It tries to do the same as Facebook. It says, well, this person seems to like this kind of post, so let me see if I can get those up to the top for them. And it's a good way to kind of keep up with what's going on. Like for me, I like to see ideas and things that are going on in the industry. Just like Ashley was saying, maybe it's somebody you don't compete with, maybe they're in a different geography or doing something different, but you could maybe benefit from the idea that they're talking about. So I guess one of the things I'd like to do is let's talk a little bit about maybe next constructing a good page, because so this is my personal page. A couple of things that they really strongly suggest is, you'll see so often somebody doesn't have a photo in their a profile photo, and one of the top tips that they give out is say, make sure you have a photo. And why is that? Because let's say you heard some guy, Kerry Fink, and you're trying to see more about him, and maybe you saw him speak someplace or something like that. And so when you put in Carrie Fink, maybe 15 or 20 of them come up, and you want to make sure that you're actually tracking the correct one. So getting that photo in there is one of the ways to really make sure that you're getting that. And also LinkedIn uses that in terms of preference, in terms of how they show. They'll try to show the photo, if you type in a name, they'll try to show the ones with photos first. It's also a good idea. You have to decide what you want to do, if you want to have like this cover photo kind of thing. But one of the things that I think is another important thing that you might want to keep in mind as you're building your page out, and I think this is really an important function as well of LinkedIn. You have to remember that, just like Ashley was telling us a few minutes ago, this is your chance to present your story in the best possible light. So you control what goes here. I mean, there's never a good point. There's never any point to being untruthful about something, but this is your chance to at least spin it the way you want it spun out there. And so I would go with that. And so the other thing, though, that I keep hearing over and over from real experts in LinkedIn is they tell us to be sure your stuff is up to date. Like, let's say you switched jobs in the last 6 months. You want to be sure that your information shows your current employer. You want to be sure that it has you correctly titled. You want to be sure it has your correct, educational experience, if that's important. If there's qualifications, you want to do that. You have an option, by the way, to create an about section, and you can put anything in here. For me, I do like 3 different big areas, and so it's kind of like all over the place. What I also try to do, because I do end up doing a lot of speaking, I created a full bio and then a mini bio. And so the idea is here, this would be the one that's more appropriate if somebody's going to introduce you at a speaking engagement. Like Ashley was talking about, you can have the activity down here. You can put all your experience, and like Ashley mentioned, really important to put in to connect to the company, because somebody goes, well, what is this company? I want to go see what their page looks like. You should be able to get over there and learn about the page, particularly like when Ashley was busy trying to hire folks to help her over at Senior Living Management. You want to have that connection. Then there's opportunities. You can put in your education, any certifications that you have. You can drop those in. A volunteer experience you can throw in. Skills endorsements. This is another area. I don't know, Ashley, how seriously do you take that? Like if somebody applies to you, maybe they saw that ad in LinkedIn. Now put on your I'm going to maybe hire somebody hat. Do you take a look at stuff like that on somebody's LinkedIn, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, so when I receive a resume, the first thing I do is I double check that the resume lines up with LinkedIn. And that, that they have endorsements from people is great. Not necessarily something that has to happen, because, it's not everyone just hands out endorsements. Normally they only come like if you ask, or if you've worked closely with someone, because it does take effort to go get it. I think I've been endorsed like only a couple times because I haven't pushed it. But it's a really great way to share with people like that you've been on a project with, and to give them some public kudos. Exactly.
I think so. So then let's shift. Let's say that you're a small business owner. So you have your own personal page, and this is about you and your career, but now you also maybe have your business, and this is your business, not a business where you can just tag into to a page that's already under somebody's control. So let me see if I can pull us back over to, I guess I could pick on the Helping Seniors page here, because this is a case where we really had to create the page. And one of the things that we try, it's like a lesson 101 for us and all the things that we at least attempt to do. We want you to know, if you go to a Helping Seniors page, whether you go to it on Facebook, whether you find us on the website, whether you find us on Instagram, wherever you find it, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. I want you to understand intuitively, once you get there, that yes, this is the same Helping Seniors. So as a former radio guy and not a tremendous graphics guy, I'm always more concerned about us having consistency in how we present things than necessarily having the most brilliant or flashy display. So the Helping Seniors logo is what it is, but we've used it now for 10 years. So my hope is that if you see that, you go, I've heard of that, or I've seen something about that organization someplace along the way. So even when we set up the Helping Seniors page in LinkedIn, we were trying to capture the fact that this is our service to the community, our helpline. And so we set up this cover page to kind of give us that look. And then, as Ashley was mentioning too before, we sort of have, there's ways you can do this without spending your whole day. There's things like Hootsuite and different things where you can multi-platform. You have to decide, because you could spend a whole career just posting stuff all day. So you have to really kind of ask yourself, if I'm going to post this, is this going to have some meaning? And I tell you, probably 80% of the time, we even get that wrong. We post stuff that's really not as helpful as it should be. But what we try to do in our case is whenever we do a new radio show, we do a new TV show, or if there's something interesting like an event that's going on that we can promote, like here's our team out at the All Veterans Reunion this past weekend. We were cross promoting Golden Providers. Don't forget an opportunity. Like if you're an executive and maybe you're volunteering to help in some other capacity, let that be known. So we use our page to talk about the things that are important to the Helping Seniors group. But the main thing is then we're able to connect into it. And so again, like if we were going to create a post on the page, it works very much the same as it does on Facebook, right? You click create a post. If you wanted to add a picture, you could pick a photo from a device. Like let's say we were just going to we were going to do this about Golden Providers, and we could tell it done, and then we could type in whatever we want to say, and then we would click post if we wanted to post. And now it's out there. And then once it's posted, by the way, you can walk right back into it and see this. We're viewing this as a member. Okay, so right now we're viewing this as an administrator. Sorry. So let me click this. This shows us what you see as a member coming in. So if I wanted to share this, I can like it, I can come over here and I can share it to any of the other pages that I'm associated with. So like if I wanted to put it out on, I think I already did put it out on my TYG media page, and it will tell me if I did, I think. No, I guess I'd done this a couple of days. So I just reposted this out, for example, to the TYG media page. So this was like our radio program from last week. So Ashley, what other things do you think we ought to talk about as far as LinkedIn? I just think it's an important tool for it's probably the second most important tool to a business person, I think.
Yeah, I think just being present and trying to use it consistently, once a week, once every other week. I don't see it as an everyday tool. I see it as an occasional tool. I have the app on my phone that gives me push notifications if someone's tagged me in something. That way I'm able to see it in real time. Because what you don't want is someone tagging you in something that you don't necessarily agree with or is, off brand for you. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, it's just that through the years, I've been asked by LinkedIn when I'm trying to do certain things saying, well, that's kind of an upgrade. So, I mean, I have the free version. That's what I've always had. I believe. I don't think I've ever paid for the upgraded version. And I think that the upgraded version would allow me to make a direct contact to somebody who's not already in my first level connections, I guess, for going out, trying to communicate with a CEO. If I'm not in the direct network, if he's not directly in my network, I can't send him a direct message and things like that. Is that something that, do you guys have the upgraded version or do you use the free version primarily?
I don't have the upgraded version. I haven't had an opportunity to see the benefit of having the upgraded one. I can see, I get lots of solicitations from people who have the upgraded one.
Yeah.
So they're generally in business lines that are,
salespeople trying to sell to you,
really
probably. Yeah.
People that are trying to target us. But if that's what your business model is, shotgun blasting it out, then that's probably a good tool. I think really the connections, and especially, you know, in most of our industries where the Brevard connection is paramount, you know, just knowing someone that knows you is a great way to get into their circle. Because if you go to connect with someone, it'll say you have a you know, you're a third relation to this person. So it'll say who, you know, like how many degrees of separation there are between you and this person. So, you know, for local people, it's not that many, and most people will accept a you know, an invitation to connect.
You know, I wanted to, that was a question I was actually going to ask you, Ashley. How do you respond to people who, they're called network, you know, network invitations, you know, so you get this, so-and-so wants to connect with you. I know, at least for me, I kind of look at it and go, because you get, you know, I don't know about you, but I'll get like 10, 15 of these, it seems like almost every day. And like you said, Tom, I think a lot of times those are from when you buy the upgraded version. First of all, you can reach those people directly. However, you can send a connection request to anybody, even as a basic member. It's just a question: will you be able to get into their inbox, or will they just get the notification? The other reason people choose that is because they can see who's searching them. If you have this need to know, like, who's looking up my name, that's something you get with the pro version. I have not found, for me personally, I haven't found a need for that. But what I was going to ask you, Ashley, how do you handle requests? Do you just friend? You know, well, it's not called friend, but do you connect with everybody, or are you still making some sort of a, yeah, that makes sense, or this one doesn't, or how do you go with that?
I don't connect with everybody, because I think, especially in my industry, if I connected with everybody, then it might lend credence to someone that I don't know. So I don't want to connect with someone that I have no, you know, inkling of who they are. But, you know, so I normally keep it to people that I know and I've interacted with, or that know people that I've certainly interacted with. So like the 1 degree off.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make an exception if it's somebody who's in an industry that we have a serious interest with, and it's interesting because I'm sure this has happened to you as well. That I mean, there was a guy like literally, and I am talking literally 20 years ago, when I used to do a lot of work in Paris with a company called Delet over in France. And the guy is now back home in Israel, and he started this app company called Big View. So he hits me up on Big View. I'd probably lost his phone number. And even if I had it, he was in Paris at the time, it wouldn't have been good. But we were able to reconnect via Big View. And so now we're doing stuff together after 20 years. So there is a cool thing that happens on LinkedIn where you can connect with people that maybe have great meaning for stuff that you've done along the way.
Yeah. I just reconnected with a guy that I had done a training program with back in Sweden at the company I worked at, AstraZeneca, and this is probably from like 2001. So, you know, 20 years ago, and I could see him at his new company. I was just listening to an expert in social media saying that he felt like right now in this year and maybe next year that LinkedIn is really a lot of bang for your buck in terms of, if you did the paid marketing on LinkedIn, you know, price per compared to Google and Facebook, you get a lot of bang for your buck because it's not as diluted, I guess, if I could use that word, because it is a smaller group of professionals to get that visibility, and also the organic posts. If it kind of goes viral, it's just a lot of actual visibility. Whereas on Facebook, there's just so many people that it may look like it's out there, but not all your 5,000 friends are actually seeing it because it's not actually getting in front of them in their feed.
Wow. Yeah, you know, that's a good point. And also too, I'm sure you guys see these too, that LinkedIn will send out these, you know, hey, we want to give you $50 worth of advertising and things like that. And you know, that's an interesting thing. As you're talking about that, Tom, we have traditionally used boosted Facebook posts to advertise the car raffle, because that we have a very specific need. We really need your help to buy the tickets, or we can't stay around and do the things that we do. So, but I was actually thinking as you were talking about it, maybe we ought to, it'd be an interesting experiment to try a little bit, because I do think your money would go very far. I don't have any experience with it. Ashley, have you done any aid recruiting stuff, or has all yours been just on that level?
Yeah, we haven't paid for any recruiting on LinkedIn, but we might. So
Yeah.
they just recently changed their recruiting. So they're before the jobs were kind of like hard to get to and hard to navigate to, but like now on the admin side, it's right there. So it's a whole lot more user friendly than it used to be.
Yeah. So I think the key takeaways from today, as we're talking about LinkedIn, is number one, make a point this weekend to sit down, go through your own personal profile. Is it up to speed? Like, I mean, here's an example. So at least for me, I've been doing this stuff for a while. So actually, when I look at it, it makes me feel old. But I'll notice stuff like, okay, I've been doing this for 35 years. Well, 5 years goes by. Now I've been doing this for 40 plus years,
Right.
so you need to look at the stuff that might end up being out of date and see if you can bring it up to date. And of course, like Ashley's saying, make sure that you put in all the things that people get a sense for your different skills, the different things that you do. And then, if you volunteered someplace, people, especially if it fits with who you are as as the person that you are on LinkedIn, then you want to highlight that. I think the second thing is, if you have any control over your company's page, you want to make sure that that's presenting you in the right way. And let me tell you, like a lot of times, just from my role on the TYG side, I'll get involved with a company that is a company, but doesn't really have a presence on LinkedIn. And I'll say, one of the things we want to do is at least let's get this company page looking the right way, because I really think it's like today's equivalent of a business card, right? It's what people are, they say, well, and another reason for this, and actually, I know you've seen this too, is like when you Google your own name, right? Because you'll see where you pop up in Facebook, you see where you pop up in LinkedIn, and those things kind of rise to the top. So having a presence and making sure it's your face people are seeing and not somebody else's is also a reasonable competitive thing that you want to do, I think.
An example of LinkedIn that is a little bit different than some of the other platforms is, for example, when I've sold luxury property in the past. So it's a house that's like $1.5 million. And part of the strategy is to figure out, well, who can actually afford a house that's $1.5 million? And one way to know who might be able to afford it is to go after what's their job. And so you could go on to LinkedIn and take your ad for this luxury home, but target it based on their job. So it might be only doctors or only attorneys or only CEOs at a company of 500 people or more in Brevard County. So it targets. And what I found is that you can actually spend more per click because it's extremely targeted advertising based on their job, which of course is connected to their income.
Right. I agree. Wise sentiment.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat thing. And I think for myself is based on looking at LinkedIn is that I spend most of my time on Facebook and Instagram primarily, just for goofing around and for business. And it's, and I was on LinkedIn before I was even on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So that I've been on that one since it started. And I look back and same thing. Oh, have I updated? How many years in the business have I updated? I posted it on Facebook. I never posted that on LinkedIn. So I agree. It's something we ought to think about.
Yeah, so it's good. So LinkedIn, get your LinkedIn going. That's Ashley, any final thoughts on it?
Nope.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for the discussion. Very interesting. So Carrie, did you want to share with everybody what some of our upcoming discussions are going to be at the Golden Providers meeting?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we use the first part of this year to kind of hopefully help us hone in on some of our skills with the kind of the e-world, if you will. We had a session, we just finished up the session, obviously, on LinkedIn. We did a session earlier about Facebook. We Ashley gave a great presentation on Google My Business. So we recorded those, by the way. So if you didn't get a chance to see them, make sure you subscribe to Golden Providers YouTube, and you can just watch them and pick up the great information right there. But it was interesting because when the board sat down this past month and said, let's lay out the next 3 months, it was really interesting the direction that everybody wanted to take. They wanted to kind of like, let's get some of the common things that we run into, because one of the things for Golden Providers, in addition to helping you be successful as a business person in this world, and particularly as it deals with seniors, we also want you to be successful in working with seniors. And so that became the focus. So on Tuesday, our next meeting, May 18th, we're going to start a 3-part series. And the series is called Concerns, Considerations, and Community. And give me just half a second to explain that to you. So the first thing, we called it Concerns. That's what we're going to talk about next meeting, which is the May the 18th, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Zoom in. And what we meant by that was, how often do you drive down a street in your neighborhood and you see a house that's way overgrown with weeds? You can tell something's not right. Maybe you actually know the person that lives there, but you haven't seen them in a while. Or maybe you ran into them down at the gas station or something, and they sure aren't necessarily looking like they have it all pulled together, or whatever the case is. And so the question is, what happens when we notice a senior in our neighborhood, or that we know from another social setting, and they seem to be in trouble and not getting help they need? You know, what do we do? What are the steps that we might take just as a friendly neighbor, a person who cares about what's going on with other people a little bit? How do we know when it's time to call somebody in, and where does that all fit? So that's going to be our concerns part. We're concerned about our neighbor. The following month in June, we're going to talk about considerations. And I love this. Ashley for years has worked with Heidi Kuchenbacker with the same company. And she did this TV show for helping seniors a couple of years ago called How to Have the Talk. And it was brilliant. It was like, how do you have the talk with that senior person in your life when clearly they're getting overwhelmed with whatever they're doing at home, whatever they're doing? They're not able to manage things maybe the way they used to. And of course, we all have a certain amount of pride, and we don't want to admit we need help when we do. And so how do you have that talk? And so we asked her, would she join us for that meeting? So it's like, how do we talk to mom or dad, or just insert the name of your loved one there, about the fact they just can't handle the things the way they used to? And it's time to start talking about different ideas. And it doesn't necessarily mean always one thing or another, but at least let's get this conversation on the table and start looking at what our options are. Then in July, we're going to talk about community. And I like the way, Tom, you presented it. You said it takes a village. And what does that look like? And so that's going to be actually where we start to talk about some of the possible solutions. How could we get help at home if that's what we're really trying to do? If maybe moving and downsizing and coming to a great assisted living facility or independent living facility, or maybe we have to go to a memory care facility, whatever the case is, there's help that's out there. And we want to start talking about that in that session. So those are going to be really exciting and I think very valuable events coming up over the next 3 meetings for Golden Providers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. Excellent. So we'll make sure that we get the invitation out to anyone that you're thinking might be a good option for joining us at the next meeting. We'd love to have more in attendance. And I'm also excited about the fact that our meeting is being recorded. So anybody who just had to miss the meeting because of their work schedule might be able to still tune in and hear what the meeting was about, what we had to say. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you for coming. Any final announcements before we wrap up for today?
Yeah, so on the Helping Senior side, I just want to throw out, we are mid-swing in all the stuff we're doing with the Helping Seniors car raffle. That is our major fundraiser for the year. It all winds up, as we were talking with Joe about earlier, October 9th at the American Muscle Car Museum for the grand drawing. You get your tickets. It is a total fundraiser for the Helping Seniors organization. We got some fun stuff planned, actually, we're working on for over the summer months, but it's a date to go ahead and put on your calendar and get involved. Also, they're still telling us, it's interesting, that we're going cruising on October 17th. The cruise is still a go-ahead. even though they haven't officially opened up the port, but it looks like there's a serious lobby going on, and they're feeling that they have not changed the date for the cruise. So it's still October 17th. And that is the Helping Seniors. It's actually the travel club fundraiser. So what happens on that, you get to get a great 7-night cruise at an incredible price. You're traveling with people from Brevard County, and it's a fundraiser for the Helping Seniors organization, because MSC is giving a significant part of that back into our organization. So
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Be sure to network with each other in between, and we'll see you next time.
thanks.